Welcome to the FIA European Rally Championship as the ERC returns to the Spanish island of Gran Canaria. It's round 2 of the championship and it will be the first asphalt round of the season after the gravel on the Azores. Eight rounds in the calendar this season. But first, the volcanic island to the west of Africa will offer a test to the driver's skills on this sealed surface. Before we tackle Gran Canaria and Rally Canarias, let's have a reminder of what happened on the opening round of the season when we were in the Azores. The reigning ERC champion Kajetan Kajetanovic began his fight for a third consecutive ERC title. In 2017, the leader of the first leg in the Azores, the Pole, lost all hope for victory when he crashed in stage 5. Alexei Lukanuk, with 6 stage wins, who looked to have the rally all stitched up, but then on the final day had to retire after breaking his steering rod. Disaster for the Russian. Marian Griebel, the reigning junior champion, kicked off his season perfectly by winning the under-28 category, finishing 2nd overall in the Azores. But it was for local Portuguese driver Bruno Magli, who won for the first time out in his Skoda R5. Consistent throughout the rally, Magli takes the lead of the championship after the opening round of the season. So Griebel is 2nd with 26 points. Josh Moffat from Ireland is 3rd after the opening test of the season. But this one is a monster. And the Canary Islands, with Bruno Magli straight into the qualifying stage, comes here just after finding emergency budget to continue his assault in the ERC campaign. Alexei Lukanuk is a hot favourite after he won here last time.
I feel much more confident here, and we will see. To be the podium definitely will be a good restart for this season, as we lost any chance for points on the first event. So let's try to be calm and wise here and see what's happening.
Pepe Lopez and Jose Suarez, both from Spain, are driving the Peugeot 208 T16s from the Peugeot Rally Academy. And then, of course, we welcome Brian Bouthier back, multiple ERC event winner.
The stages are fantastic and my aims are great, but we'll see if I will be able to have a good pace tomorrow, and I think it will be very tricky, so we have to start very fast, but really I would like to do a good result to help me for the championship.
The 2016 French asphalt champion Sylvain Michel also joins the field as part of the under-28 class. I'm really happy to be here. We missed the Azores, but we were competing on our favourite surface at least. We're here to attack, and we'll try to be at the front of the pack. But not everyone's preparation for the tarmac rally went smoothly when Kaito was testing in Poland a few weeks ago.
I did a good test before this rally in Poland 2 weeks ago, but there was snowing test. We had a lot of snow in the mountains in my city, Ustroń. I live in Ustroń. It's a beautiful place, but we had bad temperature and bad weather.
So after the qualifying stage, it's onto the road selection order, and Alexei Lukanuk, fastest in the qualifying stage, chooses to start 15th on the road on the opening leg in Gran Canaria. The under-28 contender Nikolai Gryazin goes 14th, and Marian Griebel will start on the stage in 13th position. Kaito will be 12th. No driver wants to open the stages first here in Rally Canarias. So after the road picking, it's on to the huge ceremonial start in the centre of Las Palmas, and a huge crowd gathers to see their heroes here for the 2017 edition of Rally Islas Canarias. The champions are welcomed over the podium. The winner here in 2016 was Alexei Lukanuk.
Hola, Gran Canaria!
And he's hoping to kickstart his season off in perfect style when he returns to the sealed surface. But WRC driver and former ERC star Craig Breen made the journey from Rally Argentina all the way here.
Yeah, I did a rally in 2013, back with the Super 2000 car, which I have to say was awesome on these roads. They are really quite special, quite unique. It's probably the closest you'll get to a circuit. It's straight into a big stage here on Friday morning, 25k. So when the roads are so twisty and you've got so many corners, if you don't find a good rhythm quite quickly, you can lose time in the most incredible ways.
So leg one looks like this on our map. Heading out of Las Palmas and onto stage number 1. Stage 2 quickly follows at 14.79 kilometers before tackling the 15.14 kilometer stage 3 before heading back down to service. Classic cloverleaf format here on the ERC to open leg 1 of Rally Canarias. And Luis Monzon, local hero, multiple winner of this event in the past. He knows these roads well and is in to the first stage of the event. The tarmac here in Gran Canaria is very, very specialist. It's really, really abrasive, rough and rocky in places. Tyre wear is certainly an issue for these drivers. So with Monzon into the stage, when he completes the first test of the day, he's 4th fastest through. First time that we've seen Sullivan Michel, our French driver, the French asphalt champion, finishes just 10 seconds behind the stage leader and is 6th place overall at the end of the opening test of the event. Now, after his 4th place finish in the Azores, Pepe Lopez starts well here in the Canary Islands. Despite struggling with tyre pressure issues, he's 3rd fastest in the opening test. As the tarmac laces its way round this volcanic island, Pepe Lopez certainly trying to dominate the sealed surface along with Kajetan Kajetanovic, the reigning ERC champion, wasting no time. Forgetting his awful result in the Azores just a few weeks ago, he's hoping to become the first driver to win 3 back-to-back ERC titles, and this is why.
5 prawy poświęć, to nie ciąć 5 prawy krótki, 60 z uwagą 5 lewy, ciasny, średni, późny, przechodzi 6 prawy, 40 skamuj, 5 prawy ciasny minus skamowaniem 33 lewy, długi.
Kaito lacing his Ford Fiesta R5 prepared by the Lotus team from Poland. He's 2nd fastest too in the first test. As the Russian driver Alexei Lukyanov was runner-up to Kajetan Kajetanovic in 2016, and he led the Azores for most of the rally before he crashed just 2 stages from the end of that. But after 25 kilometers, Lukyanov wins the stage and is 5 seconds faster than the reigning ERC champion.
Правый 2, в левый 3 с доворотом, на правый 2 минус, 40, правый 2 минус двойной, 40.
But as Lukyanov laces his Fiesta around these twisty roads here in Gran Canaria, the stunning view from our helicopter follows him down the road. He's 5 seconds quicker than Kaito at the end of the stage, and when we were talking to him, he said it would be a crime to drive slower on this kind of road. But this is Tomasz Kasprzak from Poland, a regular ERC driver. He's struggling with this sealed surface, as our helicopter shows here, just on this right-hander. Watch this. An unbelievable escape there as the Armco barrier collects Kasprzak's car and saves him from disappearing over the edge and into the ravine. Both driver and co-driver are okay, but it just shows that these corners are very, very specialist here in Canary Islands, and they can catch out any of the rookie drivers at any moment. Certainly an assault on the senses. But as the drivers head up the road there to warn the oncoming traffic that their car is okay, Kasprzak, that's his rally over and done with. back in a minute here at the ERC. Welcome back to the Canary Islands. And leg 2 continues with a 15-kilometre stage on the European Rally Championship. Even though it's a holiday destination, cloud is also a problem on the top of the island, and visibility sometimes bad, and slight humidity under the trees. And Brian Bouffier, on his return to the ERC, he's having a tough time of it, having problems with his brake pedal, and ends the morning in 11th position, just having a little bit of an air gap whenever he presses the brake pedal. He just doesn't know quite when the brake is going to engage and slow down his Fiesta R5. So driving a little bit cautiously, and that's showing in the times. 11th overall after the morning's loop of stages. But Bouffier is trying to improve on that all the time. Rally Azores winner Bruno Magli only managed to collect the budget together just before this event. Only had budget from his sponsors to do one rally in the Azores, but after his win on the top step of the podium there, he managed to get some money and come here to Canary Islands to have another go on the ERC on this sealed surface. Magli is taking time to get used to the new car on this kind of setup, but manages to be third fastest through in stage 3 and ended the morning in 5th position. As for Ivan Aris, the Spaniard driving the i20 R5, he's driving the only Hyundai in the ERC Championship at the moment, but he climbed up to 4th overall in the second stage of the event, and it will be certainly one to watch during the ERC season. It's great to see the Hyundai i20 on the rally. Very, very noisy little machine as well, but Jose Suarez, the distinct sound of the Peugeot 208 T16 R5, Jose Suarez is having problems with his power, so you can hear that as he comes past our camera position in the stage. He needs to take it very, very carefully back to the service park to see if the engineers can fix the problem in that one. Still finishes the morning 4th behind his teammate Pepe Lopez. As for Kajetan Kajetanovic, the battle of the Fiestas for the top 2 spots was glorifying to watch. Just 2.5 seconds off the lead.
40, 7 lewy szczytem Kipin 100, 6 lewy poświęć 30 piano, wąsko 6 lewy ciasny, do 6 prawy ciasny średni Kipin 60 prostuj mocno skamuj, 3 prawy plus do 3 prawy minus 15, późno 2 lewy.
Now Alexei Lukanek received a 10-second penalty for a jump start at the start of stage 2. But the Russian driver was unstoppable on the abrasive tarmac. Alexei saying that the car was parked a little bit too close to the photo cell at the start of the stage, so he believes that when he popped the car into gear, that you just saw a moment ago, that he just sliced that timing beam and started off just a little bit earlier. But Alexei proving that he is the master on tarmac, and preservation of tyres is needed.
I'm really happy with my driving at the moment. The feeling is like I'm crawling because I'm trying not to steer, not to brake too hard, and just preserve tires and go smoother lines. It seems it works, but it's really hard, you know, not to back off too much.
So Alexei Lukanek is our rally leader after 3 stages on Rally Islas Canarias 2017, and just by 2.3 seconds ahead of Kajetan Kajetanovic. The Peugeots of Pepe Lopez and Jose Suarez are in 3rd and 4th, and Ivan Aris is down to 6th place. Back with ERC junior graduates and Craig Breen.
Obviously the winner of the under-28 category will get a chance to drive a WRC car on a World Championship event, so a prize like that hasn't really existed before. There's been prizes in R5 cars and in second tier categories, but this is quite unique that there's a prize that will shot blast one of these drivers right into the World Championship, right in front of the noses of the WRC teams and managers.
So under the under-28 category in the ERC Junior Championship, this is Jose Maria Lopez, or Pepe Lopez as he's known. His teammate Jose Suarez suffering from engine problems, but Pepe is cruising through the fog to 1st place in the under-28 category. Michelle Sullivan The French asphalt champion gets his first stage win on stage 4. As for Nikolai Gryazin, a difficult start to him in stage 3, but Gryazin comes back strong in the fog to complete on the podium in the under-28 class at the end of the day. Meanwhile, at the front of the rally, Alexei Lukyanuk goes for another stage win. It's 4 out of 4 for the Russian rocket. 4 stages completed on the island, and look at those stage wins racking up for Lukyanuk, proving that he's the champion on the sealed surface. We're back to a foggy Rally Canarias, and it's time to see how the Junior Championship gets on in the under-27 category. The U27 category is not all about gaining experience on the road, but it's also about learning to deal with everything around the race. Before the action started, the ERC Junior Experience cadets learned all about social media interaction, how to handle TV interviews with the journalists, and a visit round our production offices here in the service park. As for Alex Zavada, great to see him back in the Junior Championship this year. That's a bit of a problem in the middle of stage 3.
100. Okay. 100.
Just glancing the barrier there.
It was a very important corner. I was like, all right, I'm going to push here a little bit. Unfortunately, there was a few drops of rain. I didn't take that into account and went a little bit wide and just touched the barrier. Luckily, nothing happened really. No puncture, no real damage. The car was driving fine.
Unfortunately for the pole, his day ended prematurely in stage 5 when his wheel studs broke and his wheel fell off, and that was it, his day done. As for Jari Huntonen, the new Iceman of rallying, the Finnish driver, had to retire from the Azores just 500 metres from the finish line, but after leg 1, he's just behind his main rival and teammate Chris Ingram. Despite some technical issues in stage 4, Chris Ingram led all day in Gran Canaria with 3 stage wins in the under-27 class. The Opel driver finished leg 1 with a 23.3 second advantage over Jari Huntonen. Fog always an issue for these drivers up in the top of the mountain, going from 0 visibility in some places to beautiful bright sunshine in the others.
And 2 left, over 60.
Pace notes being called out by Elliot Edmondson alongside him. This combination are working well, and Ingram proving to be pretty dominant in the under-27 class in the Junior Championship this season.
27 right, nips half. And 5 right long, opens. Into.
So it's all to play for in the junior class as the Opel duel continues at the top. Is the Brit versus the Finn. The gap is 23.3 seconds. Back into the main class, and the fog and the drizzle await the drivers for the last 2 stages of leg number 1 in the Canary Islands. It's round 2 of the championship, and a massive moment for Nikolai Gryazin on the final stage of the day, stage number 6. Gryazin had a pre-event off when he was testing at the start of the week, and also just damaging the back end of his SRT prepped Skoda from Latvia. Disappointing day for him today. As for Pepe Lopez, he's been leading the under-28 class since stage 1. The Peugeot driver gets his 3rd stage win of the day. He's the 2nd Spaniard overall, just 0.4 of a second behind the Hyundai driver of Ares. This is Marian Griebel crawling his way up the hills here in Las Palmas. Had a bit of a difficult day for Griebel. First time that he's been driving this car on the tarmac in the ERC Championship this season. loss for the double ERC champion. He fought pretty hard with Magli all afternoon for second place overall and finally lost it in stage number 5. But with only 2.2 seconds between him and the Portuguese driver, everything is possible on leg 2 on the ERC. On board with Bruno Magli, the ERC Championship leader and winner last time out in the Azores, took an incredible comeback in the afternoon, with absolutely driving 0 kilometres on tarmac in this car before the event, no pre-event test, and he's changing the setup all day long to see how he could get on with it. A sterling effort from Bruno as he comes towards the end of the day. 6 stages completed for Bruno.
I have one of the best days in my career today, because arriving in Canarias without 1 kilometer on tarmac on this car is just amazing what you are doing now.
As for Alexei Lukanuk, he stole the show today from start to finish. With a win in stage 5 and a win in stage 6, it's a perfect 6 out of 6 for him. On course for back-to-back wins in the Canary Islands, despite the troubled times that he had in the Azores a few weeks ago. He's reset his head, and it's all working for him and Alexei Antonov, his co-driver.
The car is really good. We did good preparation. I did a lot of mental training before this event. Not so many real practice in the car, but it's something like analysis and everything, so it pays off. It works well so far, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with it.
So he's got to be pretty happy with that. He's leading the rally by 25.7 seconds over Bruno Magli after 6 stages completed. Gaetan Kajetanovic is 3rd overall on the podium. Luis Monzon is still one of the 4 Spaniards in the top 10, but that's it.
That's it from leg 1 here on the Canary Islands. Join us back on Eurosport from all the action on leg 2.
10.
Okay.
We're back for a little bit of ERC rally action on the sealed surface of Gran Canaria. The service park's based in Las Palmas, and leg 2 looks like this as we head out into the hills for the classic Moya stage at 25.20 kilometres, onto stage 8 at 15.01, and then down to the final test of the loop of 3 this morning, stage 9, and back to service. All stages are repeated this afternoon. That's the way it looks on the map, and this is the way it looks up in the hills at the moment. Plenty of spectators out there camping since the start of the week to get a good vantage spot to watch the ERC heroes fly past their tent doors. A little bit of pre-event camping, a little bit of pre-event recce for the drivers, and that's all paying off for Jose Maria Lopez, or Pepe Lopez as he's known to his friends. First of our cars onto stage today. Remember, Pepe is currently leading the under-28 class, and we're strapped in on his bumper cam as we're heading up the hill on the front of the Peugeot 208's T16. So leading the under-28 class, the winner of his category at the end of the year in under-28s will win a drive in the WRC car next season. So absolute classic prize for a driver, but this is mesmerising stuff as he's slicing his way up the hill. So Lopez through at the top of the hill, 7.7 seconds fastest in his stage. Good run for him there. Now Marianne Griebel getting himself and his teeth stuck into day number 2 in the Canary Islands. Finished 2nd overall in the rally in the Azores last time out, but is struggling here on the tarmac stages. His problems continue into stage 7 as the German driver remains nearly 2 minutes off the lead and lying in 11th overall. But as for Irvin Ares, the Spanish driver in the Hyundai i20 R5, the driver continues to show the potential of this new class of Hyundai cars. 4th fastest in stage 7 and keeps holding on to 4th overall. Spanish driver is certainly showing his dominance on the sealed surface, and I'm sure stronger things are going to come from the i20 R5 in future ERC rallies.
Esquerdilha, mais 30 pela direita, esquerda 4, boa, longa cedo.
For Bruno Magli, the Portuguese driver, driving this Skoda Fabia R5. Remember, he's had no pre-event testing in this car. He hasn't driven any distance in it before the event, before going over the podium at the start of the rally.
Direitilha, 70. Direita 3, longa e fica. Para a esquerda 3, longa e abre ao muro.
So it's a brand new car, first time it's been on tarmac, but he drops to 3rd overall.
Menos, longa, longa. 20. Direitilha. Para a esquerda 4, mais rápida e fica 20. Direita 4, mais a fundo, curta, não abre 20. Esquerdilha 30. Esquerda 6, curta para a direitilha, mais 30. E esquerda 3 cedo. 20.
It's just mesmerising to watch these drivers lace these cars round the island.
Para a esquerda 3, mais boa, longa.
Such grip on these stages.
Para a direita 3, boa, longa cedo. Para a esquerdilha.
Kajetan Kajetanovic has been here before, and the battle for second with Magli continues for the ERC double champion, but he takes the upper hand.
5 prawy, ciasny, średni, przechodzi z hamuj, 5 lewy, do prawy poświęć 23, prawy szybki, długi minus, do 3 lewy, średni.
It's a massive push for Kaito today.
Szczytem i 4 lewy,
He wants the lead of the rally, but Lukanuk is just in a different orbit at the moment, just well ahead of him. We've seen it in the past though, when Kaito wants to put it together, he can pull it together, tightens his belts, concentration, and launches that R5 Fiesta up the mountain.
40, 4 lewy krótki, 40 z hamuj z uwagą, 4 lewy ciasny, długi kipin, przechodzi 4 prawy, 60 mocno z hamuj, nie ciąć 5 prawy.
One thing you've got to watch with these drivers sometimes, if we have our onboard camera just facing them, they don't blink. And eyes wide open for Alexei Lukanuk, and after a faultless drive on leg 1, Lukanuk launches his way into the next stage, and he continues his domination on stage number 7. "12 stages lie ahead for the drivers this weekend in Gran Canaria. And Lukanuk is fastest once again on this stage and extends his lead by another 11 seconds over Kajetan Kajetanovic. And the time's on the board there. A gap now of 38.9 seconds separating the two big drivers in the ERC. But back in Las Palmas in Gran Canaria, where the ERC service park is based, the championship grows and the service park fills up with yet more cars round after round. Hyundai Motorsport boss, Mr. Choi, and his team are looking to the future of the ERC. This is Stefan Henrich from Hyundai.
We are starting now to discuss with some of the satellite teams who could run 1 or 2 cars in the whole European Championship. Furthermore, we look now into a program which is development of a new youngster for developing that skills in the best competition to build someone ready to run in the World Rally Championship. The ERC is a perfect platform.
So it looks like we're going to see some strong stuff from Hyundai in the future on the ERC. Ivan Aris is out on the stages in that i20, and there's a bright future for the ERC Championship. He's 4th overall, and he's the Spanish driver. Everyone waving him on up there in the hills, clinging to their rocks. Now this guy from Poland. it's Gria, or Gregors. Massive lockup for him. Massive smash into the Armco barrier again for him. Not very successful there. Had a crash at the beginning of SS9 there, but manages to continue despite a redesigned front end to his Skoda. I'm sure that will buff out when they get back to the service park later on. As for Suarez driving the Peugeot, after day one plagued with electrical problems, the Spanish driver's pretty happy with his pace today on the tarmac stages on his kind of home rally. Even though he lives on the mainland, we're still technically in Spain. He finds really good rhythm in stage 8 and stage 9. When we asked him at the end of the stage what the problem was with his car on leg 1, he said it was a gremlin somewhere between the front and the back of the car. Anyway, they sorted it overnight. Sullivan Michel, the French driver now, in the Fabia R5. So he's the French asphalt champion and is attacking on day 2, closing in on the leader of the under-28 class, Pepe Lopez, but also picks up a 10-second penalty for a jump start and made a mistake at the start of stage 9. Losing precious time.
Pour droite à fond sur gauche, pour droite frein, pour gauche 90 moins, sur droite de 90 ferme, sur gauche 90 moins, et 30 mètres, droite de 90 ferme, sur gauche 80, sur droite 90, et 20 mètres, droite de frein, sur gauche 90 ferme.
Just the detail in the pace notes being shouted out in French there from his co-driver. The ERC French champion continues his dominance on the rally. Despite picking up that penalty for the jump start, it's still looking mesmerising for him, despite a little spin.
20 mètres, gauche 80 plus tard ferme, gauche 80 plus tard ferme, sur droite 90.
Just the back end of the car just stepping out there. Let's see what he has to say at the end of the stage.
It's a good morning for us. I touched at the rear of the car at the start of the stage, so after it was difficult to find the good rhythm. So we lose precious seconds. We will see.
75 prawy, szybki średni plus 60.
So the camera streaks across the countryside to try and pick up Kaito off in the distance, coming up towards us. Kaito set the fastest time in stage number 8. The only driver to take a stage win away from Alexei Lukyanuk. The double ERC champion keeps his grip and second place at the moment. What more does he want?
Do prawy przechodzi lewy krótki, nie wypuść, hamuj 10, wcześnie 2 lewy do 2 prawy, średni.
Just centimetres away from the Arco barrier, choosing the racing line as they come through this stage, up the hill, clinging to the side of the mountainside. Second place okay for him?
I'm trying to push and to have a fun, and I think it works. I'm still trying. Of course, you have to be focused on your job, because you can't do everything, yeah? You know that, yes? It's like in life.
Yes, okay.
Yeah?
So you're not going to win?
I would like to.
Despite all that, he still wants to win, even though he's got to think of the championship as well. And second place is pretty good, and maybe let his friend Alexei Lukyanuk win the event for a second time. So Lukyanuk, we're on board with him. He's still leading the event. Has done right from the start. He's fastest again, but only 5th quickest in stage number 8. Maybe that's just to conserve his tyres. In stage 9, Lukyanuk was fastest again, and starting to buy a bit more time between him and Kaito. So look at that, racked up on the board, win after win after win after win for Lukyanuk. Just one stage win to Kajetan Kajetanovic, 39.6 seconds behind Alexei Lukyanuk. Coming up then, we've got some more ERC action as the final few stages continue. It's going to be a bit of a standoff in the Canary Islands. The first round on tarmac this season. We'll be back for some ERC action after the break. Welcome back to round 2 of the FIA European Rally Championship in Gran Canaria. This is Rally Islas, Canarias. And now, let's see what the stars of tomorrow have to say and what their take on the championship's all about. Ladies first, and Katie Munnings from the UK. It's the first time that she's been on the island and the first time she's been behind the wheel on asphalt since June last year, so she's been off the road for quite some time, but is gaining experience on the rally. As for Tamara Molinero from Italy driving the Opel Fathom R2, Tamara is showing why she's also the ladies' trophy leader. The Italian finished ahead of the Briton and was 6th overall in the under-27 class. Good driving from her. As for Karel Kupek from the Czech Republic, or Karl Kupek, after a big crash in the Azores last time out, he needed to rebuild his car, and it was a bit of a rush on to get the car completely rebuilt for Canaries, and nearly didn't make it here, but was rewarded with 3 stage wins in the junior class, securing his first podium in the category. And Jari Huttunen, our Finnish driver, second time out for him. The battle in the junior class was pretty tight in the Opel Adam R2s. Huttunen pushing his teammate Chris Ingram right to the bitter end. Winning stage 12, but he had to settle for second overall. First rally he's completed here on the ERC this season in the Azores. He had to retire just a few hundred metres from the end of the final stage. As for the Briton Chris Ingram, he sealed back-to-back wins in the Junior Championship. He now extends his lead in the ERC under-27 class to 38 points over second place Alex Zawada from Poland. Chris Ingram is now one step closer to the €100,000 prize and his career development fund that will go to elevate him in the championship next season. Chris is certainly getting used to the Opel Adam and is enjoying his drive wherever he takes the little Opel Buzzbox.
First stage was unbelievable, 19 seconds quicker than my rivals, and then we sort of just controlled it to there. It's been pretty comfortable since then, to be honest. I've never been one to just continue taking risks. I just want to get the win, so really happy. It's been a perfect weekend thanks to the team.
Chris Ingram wins with a comfortable 20.5 second margin. Despite 4 stage wins, Alex Zawada finishes on the last day, despite losing his wheel on leg 1. Right, back with the big boys in the ERC, and with 3 stages to go this afternoon, a repeat of the morning's loop, 54.7 kilometres of competitive action lay ahead for our big ERC drivers. So the spectators have got the barbecues lit, the tents are all set up, and the drinks are flowing up in the hills. But in ERC2, Tibor Erdi Jr., with a brand new car and the first time we've seen him on the championship this season. ERC2 is the production car category, and the Hungarian driver Tibor wins the final 3 stages to finish his category first overall.
Terrible light here. But,
As for Pepe Lopez, the Peugeot driver continues his solid run in front of the Spanish fans in the afternoon stages and finishes 6th overall. The top driver in the under-28 class. He closes the gap to Marianne Griebel in the under-28 championship. 58 points to 61. Great finish for him. And I'm sure we'll see some great things from him in the future. Now then, Bruno Magli finishes an incredible third position here in the Canary Islands. Despite having no experience on tarmac in his Skoda Fabia, he found the budget after the last rally in the Azores and managed to make it here. Third on the podium, pretty good. He'll be thanking his sponsors now.
We didn't have made 1 kilometer on this car on asphalt before arriving in Canarias, so what you have done, me and Hugo and all the team, was incredible. Fight with the European champion 2 times is like a dream come true. And now I prove that I am fast in Portugal, but I can be fast outside Portugal as well.
As Magli said, he won the battle with Kajetanovic throughout the rally. As Magli said, he was in battle with Kaito throughout the rally, but the 2 times ERC champion finally gets the better of him to finish second overall.
Przechodzi 3 prawy krótki, poświęć 15, 2 prawy otwarty, 30 piano, skamuj lewy, poświęć.
In stage 11, he takes another stage win from Alexei Lukanuk, but couldn't find the pace overall to win this weekend in Canarias.
We should be happy, and we are. That was good rally. We can improve our times. At this moment we don't know how, but I believe it.
As for Alexei Lukanuk, he's just, as we said earlier, on another planet with his driving this weekend. The Russian rocket was absolutely disappointed after throwing away his possible victory in the Azores a few weeks ago. But coming to the Canary Islands, he's reset his head. It's all worked out for him in the end, and finally he wins a rally on the ERC and also Canaries for the 2nd time. 10 out of 20.
It's great. We made huge progress in 1 year and was dominant here. So yeah, I'm really proud for our performance. Thanks to our sponsors. Thanks to Pirelli for great tires. Thanks to our team for a great car, and yeah, to all our fans who support us. It means really important. It means really much for us. So yeah, for the moment I'm really happy. I was devastated 3 weeks ago, but now I'm in heaven.
Devastated 3 weeks ago and shaving his hair off to punish himself for crashing out of the Azores. His new look, streamlined haircut, seems to have made a difference here on the ERC, and Lukanuk wins by 57.2 seconds over Kaito Magli in 3rd. That's it, back in the service park then. It's time for the teams to celebrate. Alexei wins in the ERC for his 5th time. The boys at H Racing can certainly celebrate and relax now. But before all that, it's into the service park over the podium and confirmation of the points. Bruno Magli leading the ERC Championship with 63 points. Lukanuk is 2nd at the moment. Time for the Pulpit Ceremony in the centre of Las Palmas. And that win here for Lukanuk catapults him up to 2nd in the championship standings with 46 points. Bruno Magli is in 3rd overall. But the weekend certainly belongs to Alexei Lukanuk in the Canaries, a masterclass from start to finish for him. But to conclude, find out what's happening else in the ERC, follow us on the social media outlets, see what our drivers have been up to while they were enjoying themselves here in this holiday destination in Gran Canaria. Next up, the ERC continues its European adventure as we head to the Acropolis Rally. We'll be back in June as we head from the sealed surface to the rough, tough event in the Panassos Mountains. We'll see you in a few weeks' time. The ERC continues in a few weeks' time as we head to the rough, tough surface of the Panassos Mountains in Greece for the classic Acropolis Rally. We'll see you soon.